Sure, everybody knows their job.
Well, today is Saturday the 9th of March. It is the second of 5 weekends in this month, and it's FA Cup quarter-finals weekend. A big Saturday and Sunday sees a depleted Premier League fixture list intertwined with 4 quarter-final matches, the first of which is an all-Premier League affair between Everton and Wigan at Goodison Park, and the players are in the tunnel just about to come out for this game. It should be a home win on paper, but it will be good. Now it's a miserable, wet, rainy, cold day outside, but I'm just going to watch the opening minutes of this match at home. And then I'm going on a road trip this afternoon, so I'll be listening to most of this game, a Premier League game at 3 o'clock, which is probably going to be Reading versus Aston Villa on 5 Live, and then hopefully all on TalkSport we'll listen to Man City versus Barnsley, the second FA Cup game, on the way home this evening. But BBC Radio Merseyside provides today's commentary. Anyways, here's Zed Cos, let's get to it.
Takes a lot of balls on his chest and then liberation. He's such a big player for Everton, and it's whether they assign somebody to pick him up, both in front of him and just behind him, because he picks up that pocket, takes a lot of balls on his chest, and then links play up, and he's vital to Everton's team play this season. So it's a match of how they point somebody to pick him up.
They're always a great atmosphere at Everton when they come out. Love the theme tune, love the stadium. A proper old place, perfect for a quarter-final of the FA Cup. We'll have kick-off between Everton and Wigan Athletic coming up for you very shortly.
And by the way, I'm not driving today. I'm the passenger in this white Volkswagen Golf driven by good old AJ, a close friend of me and the family. Personally though, he is not remotely interested in football, so you won't get any commentary from him. He's just going to leave that to me. In terms of the Everton-Wigan match, we are 15 or so minutes in. It is still goalless, but I have to say Wigan have started very well. They've been the better team in possession and going forward, and they're giving a good account of themselves so far. As we stop at this roundabout. I would say about 22 minutes gone, and Wigan hit the post not long ago. A stunning long-range shot it was too. Would have been a cracking goal. But the away team's still the better in my opinion. It remains goalless in the first of 4 FA Cup quarter-finals this weekend. Well, we've just passed Chester Zoo as we continue along the A41 around the city of Chester. Half an hour near enough gone, and it could go either way. Everton's starting to get a grip on the game, but Wigan's still playing very well at the moment. Goal! Just over half an hour gone, and we have the first goal in this match. And I told you that Wigan had started the game. Well, now they're winning it too, and Everton have been caught out by a simple header from a corner. The Toffees in a sticky patch and behind, thanks to Maina Figueroa simply nodding it across to the far post. It is Everton 0, Wigan 1. Game on in this FA Cup tie. Unbelievable! A second goal in the space of 2 minutes, barely 60 seconds after Wigan took the lead. There's been a second goal, and Wigan's 1-0 lead didn't last very long. It's 2-0, and this was a stunning goal. Everton ripped apart the counter-attack, and it's the guy that's an Evertonian, but Manaman, the Spite legend and myth, who's no relation to Stephen Manaman. A stunning goal. The keeper had no chance. It is 2-0 to the Latics, and we're only like 33 odd minutes into this. What does David Moyes do now? Cracking stuff. 3 goals in the space of 5 minutes in this match, and this is turning out to be one of the stories of the season. It's Everton 0, Wigan 3. They've only lost once all season at home, and it was to Chelsea by a very small 1-goal margin. This is absolutely unbelievable. And the third goal, it's a wonderful finish. It's a curling shot with the left foot that I think skimmed the post on the way in from 25 yards by Jordi Gomez. It is 3-0, and it's just turned out to be a row this. Massive boos around the ground from the Evertonians. They can't believe it, but it's 3-0 to the visitors, and we're still 10 minutes from half time. What on earth has gone wrong? The world's gone mad! Well, Everton are trying their best to get a goal back before half time, but it's futile. We're just at the end of the first half into stoppage time, and the Everton fans are still largely stunned, and the Wigan fans going crazy in the away end. Well, it is half time, and as I expected, a big chorus of boos from the home fans. They can't believe it. Neither can I. Neither can most of the footballing world, for that matter. So I'm just going to sit off for the next 15 minutes, and we'll bring you some second half action. Okay. Well, the second half is underway, and Everton are trying to claw back that big 3-goal deficit. They haven't had any real chances yet. Just a few minutes gone so far, and Everton have got about 40 minutes plus stoppages to at least salvage a replay. And if they do salvage a replay, it will be in just 4 days' time at the DW Stadium this Wednesday. So it's a tricky situation for the home side, at the moment at least. Well, we are well into the second half now. About an hour's gone, and it is still Wigan that lead 3-0. And by the way, we're in southern Cheshire now, and we're going to be in Shropshire in a few minutes' time. And as such, we're gradually losing reception. So it's a battle against time, or at least against signals. The reception might be completely gone by the time we get to the final whistle, so we should be able to listen to the whole game just in time though. But there's been no improvement for Everton so far, as we reach a much more open and fast-paced stretch of the A41. There's about 20 minutes left. Reception's still hanging in there, but Everton on. They really need, they would have needed to have got at least one back by now, and it is still 0-3. So it's looking like Wigan have done enough, and it's going to be the first time in their history that they reach an FA Cup semi-final. So congratulations goes to Roberto Martinez and his men. They're on the verge of making history at that club. As for Everton, in the 11 years that David Moyes has been in charge, the wait for a trophy under him goes on. And we're just reaching a Shell garage. I think we're going to pull in and get some petrol, are we? Yes, we are, apparently. So we'll just get some petrol, maybe a drink or something, and I'll give you an update later on as we pull in here. There we are. We're not far from the border with Shropshire here.
Yeah.
The game is up for Everton. It's still 3-0 to Wigan, but there's just 10 minutes left. And even they can't mount a comeback from this. As the Blues start to flood out the exits, it's been a shockingly disappointing day for them. But Wigan are going to Wembley for the first time in their history, as the Toffees are showing the red light in this year's FA Cup. Although, as you heard from Barkley, a chance for Everton there, but it obviously went just wide. Well, we're now right in the town centre of Whitchurch, and Whitchurch is a town in the north of Shropshire, so we're 2 counties away from Merseyside here, and the reception is still hanging on with about 5 minutes left. As you can hear, it's pretty weak, but it's still with us. And we just saw a quick shot of a church there, probably the church that puts the church in Whitchurch. It's bad for Everton because it is now, the 90 minutes are up, we're into stoppage time, and Wigan, just to put the ice on the cake, are going to leave with a clean sheet as well. I don't think they've ever won at Goodison Park in the Premier League, so this will certainly feel sweet to them. They're off to Wembley, and the reception is really fading now. In fact, we've got 2 radios. We've got some music on the car radio and this portable radio with me. It's just hanging on to a bit of reception, but the game is all over. The game's been up since the 35th minute when Wigan went 3-0. And it's been a good match, for the neutral at least. There's barely a minute left of stoppage time. We're just going to stay here and wait for the final whistle, where there will be a big chorus of boos again. Well, I say there will be a chorus of boos. There probably won't be that many people left to boo them. They just can't find a way through this Wigan defence this afternoon. But an extraordinary day. We can't be long enough now, as I'll show you more shots of the Shropshire countryside. In fact, we've left the northwest of England, we're virtually into the northwest Midlands here.
Played for Pinar. Pinar's got a bit of space, has he?
Good reception, actually, considering we're now must be 50 miles from Liverpool at least.
Yeah, well, it's quite high up here.
Just as I say that, it starts to deteriorate a little bit. We might improve when we get around this corner. Well, the final whistle is near enough going as we speak. I just about can't hear it now. It is appropriate that the reception has faded beyond feasibility just as we've got to the end of the game. I suppose that, for me, that's feasible. But if you can't hear the end of the game, let me just say it is the end of the game. Wigan are off to Wembley in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, Everton aren't, and that's the end of the story. I'm going to just give my arm a rest because it's aching from holding the camera, and in about half an hour's time, the 3 o'clocks will be underway, where we turn our attention to the Premier League. In fact, it still hasn't finished yet. That was the final whistle. The few Everton fans that are still there are booing. It's finished Everton 0, Wigan 3, and we're 35 miles from Wolverhampton and 48 from Birmingham. It's just all in the sign there. So about halfway between West Midlands and the North West. So join me in a little while for the next set of matches. Oh yes. Well, we've just stopped on a country lane somewhere in the middle of the Shropshire countryside, and it is 5-3, and we're just getting ready for the 3 o'clock games. All the focus is on the bottom half of the table and the relegation fight, the fight to stay in the division today. And there's a massive match between Reading and Aston Villa at Merseyside, both of them in the bottom 3, and that's what 5 Live are broadcasted, and that's what we're going to listen to. And there's 3 other games too. There's Norwich versus Southampton at Carrow Road, neither of them completely safe yet. QPR, bottom of the table, need points. They've got Sunderland at home that themselves aren't safe yet. And there's one mid-table affair between West Brom and Swansea, who are both safe. So it promises to be a fascinating couple of hours as we begin the second of our big 3 passes a day. And it should be good. As for where we're going, you'll find out later on, but it is 5-3. I mean, just hear the announcements, the Premier League jingle, etc. from the Merseyside Stadium for Reading Aston Villa, as I say, which is the live commentary game today. So it should be good. We'll bring you updates from that, and we'll bring you anything that happens in the other 3 games. So let's get going. Well, in this match, it's Reading that have started the best. They've already forced the save out of the Villa keeper, Brad Guzan, and they've had a couple of corners, but no goals so far that we know of. And we've just passed a perfectly good lay-by there where he could have stopped. We stopped 100 yards early on a dirt track. That's the way it goes when you're driving in places you're not that familiar with. In fact, there's some more perfect, convenient parking just on the left here. Just our luck, isn't it? Let's hope that some of these teams struggle and get the luck they need in their relegation fights this afternoon. Very, very scenic area of the countryside here. All the tall trees, you can see the church over to the right there. Very nice, very good. Actually don't know what it's called, but we're still less than 10 minutes in. We've not heard of any goals yet in the Premier League, but it does promise to be a fascinating afternoon. Well, Aston Villa have had their first serious chance. In fact, Benteke's header came off the crossbar, so Villa close to taking the lead. Less than 15 minutes gone, it remains 0-0. So far, I don't know of any goals in the other 3 Premiership matches either. Villa attacking again here. Oh! And another Villa attempt there, but it was just wide, I think. Well, with just over 15 minutes gone in the 3 o'clock games, and we've now entered Staffordshire as we move further south and east towards the Midlands. Goals in the Premier League games at the moment. 20 minutes played. We do have the first goal in the afternoon in the Premier League, and Sunderland are winning at QPR. a ground that they also scored first and ended up winning it last season. So the bottom club are trailing, QPR 0, Sunderland 1. But in this Reading Aston Villa match, it remains 0-0 at the moment. Andreas Weimann, the Villa player there, just wide as we go under this historic bridge. But it remains 0-0 at the Merseyside Stadium. There you are with that. A second goal in the afternoon, and it's a second goal that's also come at Loftus Road. And it's good news for QPR. Remy scored again, and QPR that were losing earlier, they've equalised. It's 1-1 there. So hope once again for the bottom club. But we still wait for our first goal in the Merseyside Stadium match. We have the first goal in the Reading Aston Villa match. And it's Reading that drew the first blood. The Royals are ahead against the Villains. It's Reading 1, Aston Villa 0. And in all the excitement, I've just talked over the scorer. But Reading are ahead. I'm not sure who it is. In any case, it is Reading 1, Aston Villa 0. With just over half an hour gone. How can Villa respond to this? We'll find out. A second goal at the Merseyside Stadium. And guess what, Aston Villa fans? It took you less than 3 minutes to equalise. It's 1-1. Again, because I was talking and because the reception is a bit hit and miss, I'm not sure which of your players scored it, but it's 1-1 at the Merseyside. Now things are picking up. He's rounded the keeper. I don't know who's rounded the keeper. I think it might be Bonlahul. I could be wrong. And I think there's another goal. Just as Aston Villa take the lead, West Brom have gone behind, I think. Sounds like Luke Moore's given Swansea the lead at West Brom. I'm not certain about that one though. We're just going on to the M54 here. We're leaving the A41. In fact, we've already left it because some of the road is closed apparently, so we've had to make a diversion anyway. But we're going to avoid the A41 going through Wolverhampton, and we're taking the M54 to the M6, and then we're going to get off the M6 and then eventually get on the A41 as we approach West Bromwich. Quite complex if you don't know where we are. So 4 goals in the Premier League, 2 a pair, 2 each in the Reading and QPR matches, and that's all there is so far. Plus we think Swansea are out at West Brom. We're not even sure about that. So that's what there is so far this afternoon. Well, Swansea did take the lead at West Brom, and I know that because West Brom have equalised from it now. Lukaku's name was mentioned. I don't know if he scored it or not, but it is now 1-1 in 3 games, with Norwich Southampton the only goalless match. So 6 goals in the Premier League. It's all lit up now, isn't it? It's all flared up brilliantly, at least for the neutral. Well, we're now on the M6 proper, heading south as we approach half-time in the big 3 o'clock round of games. And to be fair, the weather's been good today. I mean, the forecast was for it to rain all day, and it was earlier on, but it's been at least an hour without any rain. It's been dry for at least an hour, so credit to it. Aston Villa have taken the lead at Reading. They've turned it round. Nothing's going to stop Aston Villa now, in reference to the song on the other radio. At Bonlahul with a tap-in after the initial one hit the post. Reading 1, Aston Villa 2. They've completely turned it around of the Brummy Giants. So 3 goals and it's not even half time after a goalless half an hour. Brilliant stuff. But can Villa keep it up in the second half? We will see. So
I don't go there, do I?
I will speak to you in the second half. Thanks for joining us for the first half. Unless any goals go in the next couple of minutes, assume that the scores are as they are at half time. By the way, we've just come off the M6 and we're waiting to get onto the next road. As the truck there, yes. Well, we're just entering the West Bromwich part of Birmingham now, and we're also awaiting the return of the second half of the matches. It's 4 o'clock and they're just about to get underway again at the Merseyside Stadium, where Aston Villa lead 2-1 at Reading. And there's one of those big, I don't even know what it's called, but there it is. So just in the early stages of the second half, there's an update from the Six Nations Rugby Union that's still in progress, but no more new goals in the second half. In the end, there were 7 goals across the full Premier League matches in the first half, which is a fairly impressive ratio considering only 1 had gone in after half an hour. Well, we've just crossed over the M5, and as you can see, we're coming up to one of the Premier League's 20-member football grounds. We're in West Bromwich, so it has to be West Bromwich Albion's ground, and it is indeed the Hawthorns, the highest ground in England. And by the way, there is of course a game in progress here. West Brom versus Swansea. The score is 1-1. West Brom's Birmingham neighbours Aston Villa, they're winning at Reading, but it's only 1-1 here. I'm afraid the road's closed, you'll have to carry on. But let me just show you a bit of the north stand of the ground. How do I do it? And there it is. We'll try and pull over and have another shot in a minute. This ground, of course, is the second time I've been here this season. I went to the game in December. On that occasion, I approached from the south side and left from the south side. Saw the ground, saw the game from the southern stand, so I only saw the ground from the other side. At least I'm seeing it from the north side now. So there you go, yes. Well, we've just pulled up at a McDonald's car park. I'm not going to go in and buy anything, I'm afraid. Oh, there's been a goal in this game. You heard that there. That's the Hawthorn Stadium behind me, by the way. There's been a goal in it. I think it's for the home side. It sounded loud. And we're at the wrong end of the ground from the away supporters, so it must be West Brom 1. It must be West Brom 2, Swansea 1. I didn't, honestly, that's just well timed. So there you go, there's a shot of the Hawthorns, just when West Brom have scored, presumably, in it. Deary, deary me. It's not 2-1 West Brom, it wasn't a goal at all. The cheering was because West Brom were awarded a penalty. And guess what's happened? Michel Vorm, the Swansea keeper's guessed the right way and he saved it. So it's still 1-1. It wasn't a goal at all. And that remains a score with the Hawthorns. Anyways, goodbye West Brom's ground. I'm sure we'll see you again in the future. I'm off. Yeah, we're not going in to buy anything here from McDonald's. We just stopped to have a look at the ground, basically. We're off now. Well, we're just leaving this McDonald's opposite the Hawthorns. And there has been another goal. I mean, it is West Brom this time. They're 2-1 up against Swansea. Before we heard them celebrating being awarded a penalty, which was then saved by Swansea's keeper. Well, just after getting in the car, West Brom really did go 2-1 up. And I must update with the rest of the action. Reading, just think it was Noel Hunt, but it's been ruled out for offside. Devastation for the Royals. They're still losing 2-1. And Southampton have missed the penalty at Norwich. Lallana, he's just blasted it over the bar by a mile. Apparently it looks terrible, match of the day. And QPR Sunderland, we think, is still 1-1. QPR have taken the lead. They've turned it round against Sunderland. I think it's Andros Townsend. What a priceless goal this could be for Harry Redknapp's men. Yeah, Andros Townsend. Well done to them. So QPR have beaten Sunderland. Meanwhile, at the Madejski, it's still 2-1 to Villa. I can only assume that West Brom still lead 2-1 against Swansea, and it's 0-0 at Carrow Road. It's turned out to be a very interesting afternoon in the Barclays Premier League. That's a mosque.
Yeah, it's very, very Asian in this part of Birmingham, which is West Bromwich, is it?
That's right.
1-0 up on Brighton.
Well, less than 20 minutes to go in all these 3 o'clock games. And everything's in the bolts. QPR only leading narrowly. Aston Villa only leading narrowly. West Brom only leading narrowly. And deadlock at Carrow Road. So it's all to play for. And a shot there off target.
And he puts his gloved hands to his head.
Agbonlahor Hall putting his gloved hands to his head, as you just heard there. Villa could have killed off the game. And it's appropriate that we're in Birmingham. It's good for Birmingham because both Birmingham clubs are winning at the moment. So it could be a double whammy for this city. With 15 minutes to go, let's hope for the sake of the locals here that nothing changes. By the way, down in the Championship, Birmingham have got a home game. And it was against Derby. They were losing, but Nathan Redmond has just put them 2-1 up. So all 3 of Birmingham's main football clubs are winning at the moment. 2-1 by the score of 2-1. although Wolves are losing, but they're not strictly in Birmingham, are they? A bit of REM as I talk about the football schools. Very good. And as Michael Stipe does his thing and sings Losing My Religion, let me just tell you, we're into the last 10 minutes of this game, and Reading are putting on the pressure, trying to get the equaliser. Villa sinking deeper and deeper, but they've just missed a chance themselves through Zoblia on the break not long ago. And from 15 or so yards, he just moved it over the bar. It's nervy and tense for both teams. There's not long left now, though. Let's hope neither of these teams lose their religions. Just had a chance there. That was Reading coming close, but it's still 2-1 to Villa. Time running out for Reading. There's less than 5 minutes left. In fact, we're almost coming up to the end of the 90. QPR still holding on nervously as far as we know, and West Brom also leading, and it looks like it's going to finish goals at Carrow Road. So 9 goals in the full 3 o'clock kickoff so far. Not a bad rate of scoring. Oh, that's a Reading chance, it's been missed. I say if one given afternoon of Premier League games can yield 2 goals a game on average or better, then it's satisfactory. So we're now in the Aston part of Birmingham. We've gone a few miles east of the Hawthorns. QPR have done it. Happy days. They've killed it off now. Genius, I think. 3-1 QPR. They're going to beat Sunderland. They're going to get their first back-to-back victories since they got promoted to the Premier League a year and a half ago. And we're just deciding where to go. I think we're going to go right here. There's a reason for this. Not long ago I showed you one of the 20 Premier League member grounds, and now we're just coming up to another one. Aston Villa, who are just on the radio, they're away today, but we're just coming up to the dugout stand here at Villa Park, and there it is. One of only 7 Premier League members to have been a member every year since '92. We're going to try and find some of the park. There's this famous old club. There she is. Aston Villa Football Club there. We're going to try and find somewhere to stop and have a quick look at the ground. But there it is. And hopefully we can toast to Villa's victory. Well, I've just been dropped off for a couple of minutes to take a closer look at the ground. There it is. In fact, I think we're going to go to the top of these steps. No one here today, of course. It's an away day. And there she is, Aston Villa FC. So I've shown you a shot of the ground. We can't stick around for too long, but there it is. And by the way, we're into stoppage time in the game at Reading, and Aston Villa, the team that play behind me, are about to take 3 points back here, and good for them. Hope they do it. And they'll move out the drop zone with the win as well. So good luck to Villa in their promotion, in their relegation fight. But there you go. That's Villa Park. This is where I am. Now let's get back in the car and catch up with the rest of the concluding Premier League games. There is Aston Villa, a Premier League team since 1992 to present. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock and we're just hearing the conclusions and the final reports. We think that the 4 games ended the way that we knew them to be, at least as of about 10 to 5. And as soon as I know how they're all finished, I'll confirm it to you. They're just going through a Football League sweep at the moment. But it seems like all 3 Birmingham clubs have won this afternoon. Well, today we've visited 2 more Premier League grounds, and I always vow to visit as many of those Premier League stadia as possible each season. My second visit is to West Brom, but I hadn't visited Villa previously this campaign. Speaking of Villa, they did hold on, and 2-1 was enough at Reading, and they move out the drop zone. So a great day for them. As for West Brom, that beat Swansea 2-1, and QPR did beat Sunderland, and I believe it finished 3-1 there. So a priceless 3 points for Harry Redknapp's men, and a goalless draw at Carrow Road between Norwich and Southampton. What a day. And a great day for Birmingham. All 3 clubs won. I've just heard that Birmingham won 3-1 in the end, I think, against Derby. So Birmingham, Aston Villa, West Brom all win at the same time on the same day. Happy days for the Brummies. So the next commentary is Man City versus Barnsley. I'll bring you updates from that in a bit. That kicks off in about 20 minutes time.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
It's FA Cup.
It's the second of 4 FA Cup quarter-finals this weekend. And after what we saw with Everton Wigan, anything can happen in this competition. Well, it's 5:30 and the Manchester City Barnsley FA Cup quarter-final tie has just got underway. Any goals, any action, I'll update you on it, okay? But it's been a good day today, and this is the third part of our big three-parter this afternoon. And it is in progress. Barnsley now bottom of the Championship, apparently, after other teams' results, as they have obviously not had a league game today. Man City remains second in the Premier League. But how will this finish? There, the score you've just heard. It's taken less than 10 minutes. An early goal with the head-to-head, and it's one that's not going to surprise you one bit. And it's a second goal this week for Carlos Tevez as Man City go 1-0 up. And I think Silva had just hit the post prior to that, and it was a follow-up shot from Tevez to give Manchester City, the champions of the Premier League, the lead in this FA Cup tie. So City 1, Barnsley 0 after barely 10 minutes. So a good start for the Sky Blues. That's the score at the moment. Well, it was about 5 minutes until half-time in this game, the head-to-head. We've just stopped off to do a bit of shopping in the last half an hour, whilst I've been keeping up to date with the match. And there have been more goals. Manchester City are just strolling into the semi-finals of this tournament. It's 3-0 City. 2 goals just either side of the half-hour mark. Kolarov just about 27 minutes gone, and just after the half-hour, a third goal, which I think was Tevez's second, but it might have been Aguero. I'm not sure, to be honest. They're just absolutely one-sided match. All Man City having all the chances. Barnsley have offered virtually nothing. And to be fair, Man City have had an easy run of home games against Championship sides, and they've taken full advantage. 3-0 against Watford, 4-0 against Leeds, and already 3-0 against Barnsley. Could be another chance here. As I say, already 3-0 up. And as we start to lose daylight, I will report later on. The half-time whistle's gone at the Etihad Stadium, and the Man City fans applaud a very easy first half. It's 3-0, and it's been every bit as one-sided as the scoreline suggests. As far as I'm concerned, it has. And the second half should be quite enjoyable for the home fans, who can all start preparing for their trips to London next month to Wembley, as they will have a semi-final, as will Wigan, and as will 2 more teams that will be decided tomorrow. So yeah, if anything else happens in the second half, we'll let you know as it gets increasingly darker here. We're now starting a journey back up towards the northwest. We're in Cannock in Staffordshire at the moment. Man City 4-0 up now, and as you heard, Carlos Tevez has got his hat-trick. They waited 10 minutes before getting the goals underway in the first half. They've not even given Barnsley 3 minutes in this. So, icing on the cake for Tevez, he gets the match ball to hat-trick, and Man City are 4-0 up, and it's a case of how many they settle for. So, there you go. We're just a few minutes into the second half, and that's the goal there. So, 4-0 Man City. Man City are 5-0 now. I didn't catch the scorer, but we might need a calculator by the end of this match. Man City 5-0 against Barnsley. And Barnsley had been coming back into it very nicely in the last 10 minutes. Had a shot on target which was saved by the Man City second choice keeper, Pantilimon, I think his name is. And another shot that was just narrowly off target. But Man City have just added another one. It's just too easy, and they're going to Wembley in style. 5-0, over half an hour, nearly half an hour still left. Well, less than 10 minutes to go. Man City just going through the motions now. I think 5 goals is enough for them. One thing's for sure, they're going to win this match and they're going to get to the next round of the FA Cup. It's now completely dark, as you can see, as we drive home on the M6. We're in North Staffordshire now. We'll be back into Cheshire before long. Not long to go in this contest, which has been a very one-sided one, I must say, to add to it. They're into added time at the Etihad Stadium, and everyone's just going through the motions. In fact, I would have mentioned that fans from both sides would be starting to leave the numbers around now. It's as good as over, this game, and I'll bring you a final whistle report in a minute. Well, the game's just finished. and it did finish Manchester City 5, Barnsley 0. So they stroll into the semi-finals of this year's FA Cup, the competition with which they won 2 years ago, back in 2011. So who will join them tomorrow? I'm going to stay in tomorrow and watch a bit of football, but thanks for joining me on this Midlands Road adventure. We're now in Cheshire, by the way. We have just pulled over to take a rest and for me to record this. And thank you. I've got another great adventure planned next week, but on a rainy day, actually a day that was mostly not rainy, to be fair. And it was an interesting road trip today, though, to the Midlands and back on this fine Saturday, the 9th of March. Thank you. See you next week.